All right, what's up, everyone? GP Hustler here. I stream a lot. I game a lot. I just wanted to make a quick video. I'm not the greatest at these things. I personally believe that I am very knowledgeable and I have my own system set up very well. I run a 3070, and during streaming, I'm able to do Starfield on ultra native resolution while streaming in 1080p with plenty of room. I could go up to 1440 and be very comfortable. The game looks and plays amazing. I see a lot of problems with people buying computers or building computers and then just running them out of the gate, almost like a plug and play system, basically like a console, right? PCs are not consoles. Consoles are built specifically for a specific uses, and that's what you get right out of the box. A PC and Windows, when you build it, when you buy it, when it's all together and running, there are many things that a computer and Windows can do. There's a lot of opportunity for you here. Now, when you load up your computer, when you install Windows, when you start it up, they throw everything at you all at once, right? Because they don't know what you bought or built your computer for. They don't know if you're using it for gaming, for making art, for doing schoolwork. They don't know. So they give you everything right out of the gate. So it's important for people to, if you want to get the best out of your computer, it is very important for you to go through little minor tweaks and settings and turning things on and off and different values. And you can really push a lot of basic power out of without overclocking. You can push a lot of power and get all of your resources and disable a lot of things that you don't need running. I like to ramble. I just drew up this real quick. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to put it up real quick, and then I'm going to leave it to the comments for you guys to say he's dumb, he's smart, he's in between, don't do this, do that. I do a lot of things because I also want advice in return. I'm always looking to better myself as well. These are just a couple of small things that I thought of right off the top of my head because I'm seeing a lot of people that, like I said, plug and play their PCs, and that if you're looking to get some optimization out of it, I can give you a couple of quick ones. If you want to see me, I stream every day on Kick GP Hustler, or you can find me here on YouTube. Leave comments and stuff. I check my social medias every day. Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. You can find me everywhere, GP Hustler. If you want to get more information, if you want to tell me how I did here, whatever. Let's get into it. Number one, updates. Huge. Updates are huge. And they happen all the time, especially driver updates. I'm very familiar with NVIDIA. I'm not too familiar with AMD stuff. I do need to build a couple of PCs and get that going so I can optimize that for some people that use those. I'm very big on Intel and NVIDIA. It's just what I have. It's what I love. It's what I've been using for a long time. Right now I have an i9 10850K and a 3070. So yeah, Windows updates and driver updates. It's very important that you do that. It's very important. I would say personally once a month. Once a month, right? Maybe get a little checklist, something, an alarm, something that pops up. It is important that you go through, and it's right in your settings. All you got to do is go to your settings and type update, and there it is. It pops right up. Boom. Windows will check for the updates, install all of them, do what it'll tell you to restart your computer, whatever you need to do. So make sure your Windows is up to date, and it's very important that you make sure your GeForce, if you're using NVIDIA, make sure, and also if you're using AMD, whatever their program is, make sure your drivers are up to date, right? So you want to go to your GeForce Experience if you have an NVIDIA card, and you're just going to go to drivers, check for updates. Mine are always updated. I do them automatically. A lot of this is like, it's important to get updates for drivers and stuff like that if you get a brand new product, a brand new game, because there are a lot of things that come out with driver updates for brand new releases. Like this most recent one is to help with and to bring DLSS 3.5 and ray reconstruction to Cyberpunk. It's very important. Do your Windows updates and do your drivers updates. Okay, when it pops up and it's done, just do express installation. It's fine. All right. Updates. All right. Power supply settings is another one, right? A lot of people just assume, I got a 1,000-watt power supply. I'm golden. Awesome. You got a great power supply, right? It might not be set to what you're trying to get out of it. I know that sounds weird, but like I said, everything's not just plug and play. It needs to be optimized, and things need to be set. Okay, so you're going to type power supply, right? I went in and I did power and sleep settings, which will bring you here. But then you want to click this one right here, additional power settings. Okay. Now, when you bring that up, you're going to see a couple of different power supply settings. Normally, right off the bat, it's balanced. Right off the bat, you get balanced, and that's like your default power settings, right? So it's kind of limiting you, and it has things that shut themselves off. I don't want to go. I'm going to try to keep the video short, so I won't go into too much of that, but it's important to check your power settings. Now, I will say, looking at this list, you'd probably want to use Ultimate, right? You'd be looking at this list like, oh, man, Ultimate Performance is the one I want to go with. I ran Ultimate Performance for a while, and what I noticed is it was keeping my GPU and my CPU maxed out, like high clock rate constantly. No matter what, I could be sitting here just staring at the desktop, and it would be maxed out, all power, ready to go. Temperatures are going up, so you don't want, I had trouble with Ultimate Performance, but I monitor that. High performance, haven't had an issue with. If you have high performance, go for a performance one if you have it in there. Let's see. Number 3, Startup tab and Advanced Windows tab. Okay, so every time you install a program on Windows, right, it's going to have, by default, it's going to enable itself on startup, which means when you push the power button and your computer loads up, all the programs that have startup enabled on them will start running in the background as soon as you load your Windows, which slows down your load times and stuff like that, slows down your operating system, your Windows from booting up, right? Now, if you disable them, it doesn't mean you can't run them. It just means they don't start the very second you press the power button, right? So what you want to do, quick little tip here. A lot of people know the way to get to Task Manager is by doing Control-Alt-Delete and then clicking the Task Manager button, right? That will bring up your Task Manager. Very quick. Control-Shift-Escape brings up your Task Manager. Very quick, right? So you want to bring that up. Now, I was monitoring this when I was going through the power settings. So when you're going through your power settings, monitor this and see if your usage is like pushed to the fucking 100% when you're doing nothing, and then adjust your power supply according. But try not to go with power saving or balance. Make sure you go with a higher power setting, right? Startup tab, Advanced Windows tab, right? So we'll do Startup tab first. You go to the Startup tab, right? And these are all the programs, right? Now, I got a bunch disabled, right? Now, for me, I only have a very few enabled. It is okay to disable everything, right? I have a very few enabled. My Realtek HD audio, that's so all my audio works, right? I have that enabled. My Stream Deck is enabled because I stream every day. I literally stream every day, and pretty soon here I'm going to be restarting. I'm the world record holder for the longest uninterrupted 24/7 stream in history by a single person. I did it for 2 years. There's articles and documentaries all over the internet about it, blah, blah, blah. I'm starting it up again soon. So yeah, I keep Stream Deck enabled and my Razer program enabled. Razer is where all my peripherals and all my settings for my peripherals are in. My microphone, excuse me, this is Yeti. This is not it, but that's within the Realtek. My headset, my keyboard, my mouse, my camera, right? Everything is through Razer, so I have that enabled when I start up. All of this shit, excuse my language, all of this stuff, like you don't need it. EA doesn't need to run. Xbox App Services, Windows Security Notification Center, that's just notifications about security. All of this stuff. OneDrive disabled. That doesn't mean you can't use OneDrive. It just means it doesn't start up and run in the background when you start your computer. So disabling them on startup means you can still run OneDrive. You just have to go and load the program yourself, which is great. It saves resources, right? So that was the startup tab. And then we want to go to advanced. Now, remember, you want to do that every time you install a new program because it will have it set to default as run on startup. Advanced Windows tab. This is a quick little small one. You want to go down in your settings and type advanced, and you'll see view advanced system settings through the control panel, right? It'll pop up this thing with 5 tabs. You want the middle tab. The middle tab is advanced, and you want to click the very top one, performance. Now, these are just tiny little animations and stuff that Windows has enabled to make your Windows experience look beautiful and pretty everywhere, right? It's unnecessary. and you can get a slightly bit of better performance out of your computer if you know what I mean. A lot of people won't do stuff like this because they think, what am I gonna get? 0.1% performance. Well, when you do 20 different things and they all add up, you know what I mean, it does make a difference. So there are a couple options on here. Like, there is an option for adjust for best performance. You can click that and it will disable every single one of these. Now, me personally, I use two things. I use show thumbnails instead of icons because I do like to get a little preview of what I'm clicking on, especially as a content creator, you know what I mean, looking for images to use, whatnot. And then I also use smooth edges of screen fonts. That just helps with, like, exactly what it says. Okay, it helps with the text on the screen. Okay. Let's see, display and NVIDIA control panel. So for display, you're going to want to go into your display settings, right? A lot of people will buy brand new monitor. I got a 240 hertz monitor. I plugged it in and I don't know, it doesn't seem different. It just, I don't know. They probably don't have it set up for 240 hertz or whatever, right? So you want to go to your display. Oh, excuse me, back up. And then you want to go to your, I messed up. I'm so sorry. You want to go to your NVIDIA control panel, right? I'm sorry. And then up here, let's see, change resolution, right under display, okay? Under change resolution. So I have 3 monitors, right? The 2 side monitors I just have set up on 1080p, 60 hertz. And then your main monitor, you want to make sure you have the high refresh rate, the highest refresh rate that your computer can use. And make sure you go through the settings to see which resolutions offer certain things. Like, for some reason, when I click on here, the Ultra HD 1080p 1920 by 1080, it only lets me get up to 120 hertz. But when I go down here to PC 1920 by 1080, it lets me go up to 165 hertz. So make sure you have your highest refresh rate selected for your monitor. We're going to go up to the very top. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter once you go in and you adjust it yourself, but for my own personal preferences, I click on this right here, use my preference emphasizing, and then I slide it to performance. Okay, and then I go back up and I click use the advanced 3D image settings. So this shouldn't matter, but I like to have it there anyways. Right? You can either press take me there, or you can click the very next button, which is manage 3D settings. Okay. Now, from the research I've done, a lot of these settings, right, the image scaling, ambient occlusion, anisotropic filtering, all of these, right, I have them off, okay? I have everything you see here basically off, okay? Now, that doesn't mean I can't have anti-aliasing in my game. That doesn't mean I can't have anisotropic filtering in my game. That doesn't mean I can't have ambient occlusion. A lot of these, right, these are for older games that don't have those settings. So you can enable them through your graphics card to enhance the quality of your old games. Your old games can get some of the new tech through your graphics card and make it look good. I don't really play too many old games and whatnot, and I know ways to make them look good on my own. And if I do, I play remasters and stuff, which won't benefit from these anyways. So image scaling I have off. You're going to have different options in here. Ambient occlusion I have off, anisotropic filtering off. Now, if you don't like my settings, you can always press restore and it'll take you back to default, okay? So everything is off all the way down to background application max frame rate. I occasionally go back and forth on this. I occasionally have it on and set to 30 FPS, meaning no application that's running in the background can go above 30 FPS. Yeah, it's whatever. CUDA GPUs, set that to all. DSR factor, I do not use dynamic super resolution. It's annoying for me. It enables you to take your 1080p monitor, I guess, and maybe boost it up to 4K or something like that with super. I don't know. I keep it off. Yeah, I don't worry about it. DSR smoothness off. Low latency mode on. Latency is just how fast things communicate and interact and things happen. It's a bad way. I'm bad at describing things, but that latency is how fast the speed of things move. Low latency on is good. Max frame rate. So what I do, this is personal. This is a personal preference. I set this to 1 frame higher than my monitor allows. I have a 165 hertz monitor, right? Now, instead of going in-game and changing all your FPS in every single game, you can actually limit your GPU to only put out a certain amount of frames, which will give you a lot of headroom. Like, if I have a 165 hertz monitor, there's no reason for me to be pushing 300 frames a second. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing it. I'm not benefiting it from it at all. My computer's pushing 300 frames for no reason when I don't need anything above what my monitor does. And I've done latency tests and stuff like that. I haven't noticed any latency difference when I set a max frame rate. So if you do it through the graphics card, it's different than doing it in-game, and you don't have to worry about your games going above your monitor refresh rate. So I do one above my monitor's refresh rate. Multi-frame sampled AA off, OpenGL auto, OpenGL rendering GPU, have that set as your graphics card. Power management mode, prefer maximum performance. You want that. You want to make sure your graphics card is getting all it can get from your power supply. Preferred refresh rate, highest available. That's just another refresh rate thing that has to deal with your monitor and whatnot, so I just stick at the highest available. Shader cache size. This is normally very small by default. I bump mine up. I bump mine way up to 10 gigs, right? 10 gigs of shader cache, right? Whatever. I don't want to go into, like I said, I'm trying to keep the video short. We're already at 16 minutes now. I apologize for that. I'll go through some of my settings real quick. Texture filtering anisotropic off. Texture filtering negative load bias allow. Texture filtering quality set to high performance. Texture filtering trilinear optimization set to on. Threaded optimization on. Triple buffering off. Vertical sync off. Virtually pre-rendered frames 1. Virtual reality variable rate super sampling off, and Vulkan is set to auto. That's a new one that I haven't fucked with. Now, maybe I'll do another video later on, but I was able to use some settings in here and change how my monitor looks through NVIDIA, and oh my god, I've got some insane results recently. Where is it? Is it desktop? Was it this one? Maybe it wasn't this one. But your desktop color settings, it's always good to turn your digital vibrance up a little bit. It's usually at 50. You can turn it up a little bit. It'll give you a little more color, make your pixels pop a little bit more. Oh, yeah, it was in here. I was messing with my contrast. But, man, I wouldn't suggest getting into that right now, but I got my stuff dialed in insane. All right, let's cancel. Let's get out of here. Display an NVIDIA control panel. We just did that. Disk cleanup, optimized drives. Same thing with your Windows update. Once a month, you want to go through and do your disk cleanup, right? You want to open it up and do your main drive. Press OK. It will run it, right? It'll run disk cleanup, right? Now, I've been doing these things for years and years and years, never had a single problem. What you want to do is check every single box. Check every single box you see here, and then press OK. And it's going to clean up those system files, right? It's going to delete stored stuff that you don't need, old files, whatever, right? That's what the disk cleanup does, right? So you're going to wait for that to disappear, right? And then you're going to run it again. You are going to run that same exact thing again, load it up on your main drive and press OK. It's going to load up, right? It's going to do its little thing. Then you want to click this right here, clean up system files, right? Press OK again on your drive, okay? This is just another area of old stored files. A lot of old Windows updates will get stored here until they manually delete themselves after like 30 or 60 days, right? So like, look at this, 1.7 gigs. I clean mine all the time, and I still have 1.7 gigs taken up in my, and a lot of it is like old Windows update files. Device driver pack. Look at that, old drivers. Like, you don't need it. Once a month, when you do your Windows update and your driver updates, after you do it, go through and do your disk cleanup and get rid of the old cached files and stuff like that, right? It's only necessary, I think, to do this on your C drive. I believe it's only necessary to do that on your C drive. I don't think it's necessary to do that on your G drive. My G drive is my game drive. I have 2 NVMe SSDs in my computer. That's what I run. One is for my operating system and stuff, and the other one is for my games. So another thing, there's slight controversy behind this, defragment and optimize, right? Because if it's an SSD, people say don't do it, right? I've never had an issue ever, and you're not defragging, you're just optimizing, right? So I believe the way drives and stuff like that work is a lot of times they have like a cache that builds up in front of them. Like normally they're alphabetical or they're in a certain order, right? Well, the more you access things, they go to the front, and then those have to get looked through before they go through the regular order of things. So if you just press optimize and stuff like that, I believe it just puts everything back in order. Do you know what I mean? If you're worried about doing that, don't do it. I've been doing this for years and years and years on my NVMEs, my SSDs, never had a problem once. Never, right? So you just optimize. It takes a second. I do it on both drives. I do it on my C drive and my G drive once a month, right? Windows update and driver update once a month. Disk cleanup and optimized drives once a month. BIOS settings. I cannot show you this, okay? I can't show you this right now because I can't record my BIOS and whatnot. Maybe if I had a backup, use my second computer for all that. In your BIOS, it's very important that you go in and you make sure that your settings are, like if you get memory that runs at 3600 megahertz, you know, in the BIOS, it might be set to 2133. You might not be getting the full speed out of your memory. A lot of newer motherboards and BIOSes, right, have very easy settings, button presses at the top of them. Mine has button presses at the top for like game-ready CPU or something, and XMP memory profile. And what that does is it boosts my CPU and it boosts my memory sticks, right, my RAM, when they're being used for certain things like gaming and stuff like that, right? It'll boost them when necessary. Super easy to do, right? And then you don't have to worry about it. Just turn those settings on. More stuff's going to be coming soon. I literally just wrote this up real quick in like 10 minutes because I wanted to put this video out there. If you guys have any questions, comments, specifics you want me to go over, please leave a comment. Come check me out on kick.com/GPHustler and talk to us there. Another quick thing I will say real quick. A lot of people don't like to do this, but it can help you big time. If you do have GeForce experience and all that, you've got your driver updates, right? Here's your list of games. Your GeForce experience, your computer, it knows what it has, right? Ooh, optimize what? Fallout what? Oh, Shelter. It knows what you're running, right? It knows, let's see if we can find it real quick. I don't want to bring it up right now, but it knows what you're running in your computer, and it can help optimize your game for that. So it's very simple. I'll load up GeForce Experience, load up the game you want to play, and just press the optimize button. There will be an optimize button that will set the game based off your hardware. It reads your hardware. It reads that I have a RTX 3070, and it's got thousands of tests that they've done, other people's computers. We're all connected through the internet, right? So they just happen to know the best settings I'm going to get for the optimal experience out of my specific graphics card. So if you optimize through GeForce, you should be good there. Like I said, if you guys have any other questions and comments, there's a lot of things I can go through Windows settings. Make sure you turn your remote desktop off, like stuff, a lot of little things like that. You can squeeze so much little performance everywhere. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. This was all off the top of the head. Kick.com/GPHustler. Like, comment, subscribe. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.